definitely recommend people work with you because you see things. I'm not gonna try and make you sound like a witch or something here, but you see things that we don't know, right? You see things that we don't see because we're in the midst of it. The stuff about sabotage and the shadow self, the ego, the inner child, that stuff you cannot level up until you've worked through it.
So, I mean, essentially, so, in terms of abundance alchemy, what did you get out of it? What did you enjoy about it? What changed for you by doing it?
So many things changed. It's the mindset. There are so many things about myself that I didn't realize that I was doing to either sabotage or to just block. There was an old saying that I used to hear a lot growing up, don't block your blessings. And that's all I was doing. Um, and it's just holding on to things that made me feel either comfortable or safe. And I wasn't putting myself out there, getting outside of my comfort zone because I was really scared. In all honesty, I was just scared to become to step into this version of myself that I could envisage, but she was like a whole world away. And then when we did the Abundance Alchemy course, I realized that you're facilitating so many different things for me, or for all of us really, together as a group. So many things that I was resisting, so many things that were keeping me like being motivated because I wasn't reframing my thoughts in the correct way, or I didn't even know about reframing thoughts and stuff, to be honest. And then the tools that you gave me afterwards, I mean, stuff that I'd work on myself, where I realized that I can literally feel these blocks like melting away from the tools that you'd given me. So before I really felt unworthy of making above minimum wage, or I didn't even consider it was something that I deserved or wanted. I feel like I said I didn't want it because I didn't feel like I deserved it, and I didn't want to go for it to be either shut down or laughed at or be like, "Are you all right?" But now it comes to the point of I know I deserve it. I'm not a bad person for wanting it. I'm not greedy. And abundance doesn't just mean money. Abundance is all the good stuff in life. And I do deserve it. We all do deserve it. But until you clear those things that are making you feel unworthy, or just like you shouldn't even see it in your peripheral, like it's not going to come to you. So there's such a beautiful thing of like clearing the blocks, calling these things to me. I felt so rejuvenated. I felt like I was like floating on air a lot of the time, and it sounds so silly, but I've weighed myself down for so long with all these negative feelings and thoughts about myself, and not ever giving myself a chance to think outside of that. Um,
Yeah.
so many things that course gave me, and I might not use those things every day. I might forget about them sometimes, but I know in the back of my mind they're there. And I feel like you said this before, like we've changed on this cellular level. There's certain parts of me that have very respectfully been put to bed now, almost. She's not dead. I get it. She's still there, that old me, but she's been put to bed. She's very comfortable. And now this whole new me has been able to kind of come into the light. And with the mindset of certain things, I do feel very capable and like I've got the tools to go forth and be amazing and achieve great things. Whereas before, I would have felt really embarrassed saying that, to be honest.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I know. I mean, you really went for it. And there's so much stuff you did that you've never done before. Just tell me a bit about the stuff that you took action on that you're like, holy moly,
Yeah. Well, there were some things that I felt were like repetitive for no stinking reason, and then when I realised the reason, like the affirmations, they were so repetitive, but my gosh, do they really stick to you.
Mm.
So the affirmations were great. The tapping embeds before I even start my day. I'd never done things. Morning routine is a myth for me. I don't do that usually. So, keeping things by my bed and reading it out every morning or reading it out every evening and just allowing myself to kind of shed the day
Mm.
or to start the day afresh instead of carrying over yesterday's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably not even doing it any justice. I'm here looking over my notes, but there's just so much. I was so not open to a lot of things that I would say I was open to, but I guess I wasn't. Even just I've just opened my book here. I'm open to being seen. Those words are so uncomfortable to me, but when I finally got to I'm open to not being invisible, it means the same thing, but I just needed to hear it or say it a certain way. So there were so many things that I had never done, so many things that if you had told me at the beginning that I'm gonna do, I would have wanted to resist it and be like, don't want to.
Yeah. So I mean,
But
I think one of the big things for you was actually public speaking.
yeah, yeah, now you can't shut me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I could never be honest for the fear of disappointing other people, really, I guess, or disappointing myself as well. If I'm not honest with myself about what I want, then I can't let myself down if I don't achieve it. And now I literally see that alignment is so important, and this helped me incredibly to just find find my soul's purpose almost, where I just wasn't scared anymore.
Yeah. Because I know one of the big things you set yourself was to be able to take yourself and your son on holiday, which is something you hadn't done for years and years and years.
Yeah,
Uh, and just the things you were coming back with in the group when we were sharing wins, stuff like, going into places and saying, this is what I offer. Would you like to have a chat about it? Just that kind of getting out there and taking the action step towards stuff, which I remember you were like, oh my God, I can't.
yeah.
I did that.
It was so exhilarating, feeling the excitement for it, feeling like I'd already achieved it before I'd even done it. And that's where the difference really occurred. It's understanding that we are not the event. We can literally feed our energy into it, but we've got to give it to ourselves first. And it's just like working through this whole process. Um, I can openly and honestly say if people go for this course or people just do this thing with you, it will change them from the core. And if they choose to continue it, which I reckon they will, because it kind of drills in, it kind of, like I said, puts to bed the parts of you that were not helpful to you. So with the bits that are now awake and alive and thriving, if you let them run the show using the tools that we've learned here, just let it become like a flow. It becomes so easy. You do things without thinking about it. I don't feel like I've got that broke mindset anymore. And it was just I didn't even realise I had it in the first place.
Mm.
I didn't. But then like I said, abundance is so it's money and everything that comes with it, all the good stuff.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think the great thing about money, I think, is that it's a great tool for someone like me who works with.
Yeah.
It's actually a great tool to put a pound sign in front of something, because there's nothing like a pound sign or a euro sign or a dollar sign to really draw out people's insecurities and their feeling of deserving or not,
Yeah.
which is always really interesting. I mean, people don't have
Yeah.
this reaction about coupons.
That's very true.
So how did you feel about the group?
Oh, the group was lovely. There was so much support, so many great personalities, and the group chat was always popping. It was quite fun to watch. Yeah, the group was lovely, supportive, open, honest. There were tears, there were laughs, there were a few burps along the way. It was brilliant. Everyone was just so. I think the openness and the honesty made it easier for the rest of us to continue and do the same. Everyone's just real. about it. You know, if you didn't do your homework, you would just say, or if you were crying during the tap, you would just let yourself be, just let it go. It was a really good trusting environment that we had there.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So if there was one thing that you enjoyed the most, what would it be?
Okay, it sounds really general, but I know how much it's changed me is not reacting the same way when it comes to stuff that might not have gone right. I had a situation where some like financial stuff from the past caught up with me, and it's no drama, it's all good. But I know how I would have reacted to it before with debt catching up with me. And oh my God, the way I dealt with it that day was like a different person just took over my body and dealt with it. Um, yeah, that was unreal. I'll never forget that because that was like, it was like I was watching myself like an out of body experience. And then even just being able to speak about it after and stuff was massive to me because usually that's where the shame would kick in and stuff. And really it was, I'm only human. We've all got things like this going on and I want to work through it, not hide under it.
Yeah.
And one more thing, I had such a problem with using my throat chakra, as in just speaking, being able to speak without my voice trembling. So I think a lot of the repetition really helped me in regards to letting it settle in, letting it become part of who I am. And yeah, just being like a master manifester. That's what my goal was in this. And I feel like we all smashed it, to be honest. There were so many wins every single week, and it was just amazing energy.
Yeah. What would you say your biggest win was during the 6 months?
Um, Again, it might sound a bit general, but it was the change in the way I think because that changed my whole life. Overthinking and all of these things, I get it. It's things that us humans might do sometimes, or a lot of the time, depending on who you are. But realizing that these are all possibly things that I'm doing to myself rather than these things happening to me. You know, just taking full control of how I feel or how I'm going to deal with it at least. It was a mindset. There was such a shift and a transformation. Um, yeah, I'm super proud of myself, really, thinking back about it all. There was a lot I learned. I did new things. You facilitated things so beautifully. Everything felt smooth. And for the times where it was hard or tricky, again, either myself or someone in the group were honest about it, and then we delve in a bit deeper. Yeah, it was brilliant. The whole thing was bloody amazing. Looking back, I'm really sad it's over as well.
So why would you recommend someone work with me, either AA or one-to-one or whatever it might be?
I would definitely recommend people work with you because you see things. I'm not gonna try and make you sound like a witch or something here, but you see things that we don't. I know, right? You see things that we don't see because we're in the midst of it. Um, I don't want to give too much away if you don't want people to know exactly what you're going to be doing in the courses and stuff, but
You can do
the,
it.
the stuff about sabotage and the shadow self, the ego, the inner child, that's that stuff. You cannot level up until you've worked through it. I don't believe you can level up in this life until you've worked through those things, or at least recognize them, acknowledge them. Um, there were a lot of things that I had, I suppose, sort of just tried to smooth over and just walk away in my life. I don't think I'd ever really delved in, worked through them, understood certain parts of myself. Like my inner child has been screaming out at me for years, but I couldn't hear her. And then we worked through so much stuff that now I feel like I've got like, this sounds so weird, but I've got this little person living inside me, and I check in with her so regularly now, and it's like she's a little part of me that's alive again, whereas I just neglected her for so long. Yeah, there's so many things that we neglect to really look into or work through as we get older with the stresses of life and family and jobs and all this and that. But yeah, there's certain foundation stuff that you've done that has transformed my life and my way of thinking. I'll never be the same again, and I'm grateful for it. And this is stuff that I can now pass on to my son or my loved ones in the most loving and respectful way. Um, yeah, working with you has been a game changer, and I really hope more and more people find you because it's been brilliant.